So let me get this straight. Stephanie done made a sub-only post talking about how helpless she is because she can't be there for Drew and how she has this court order against her. And that she doesn't understand how they can possibly put a court order on her. Y'all can pause to read, but I will have it sitting up here. First of all, Stephanie, there is no reason for you to be there in support of Drew. So basically, you want to be there to support him keeping Deshaun from his mom. That's what you're telling us? Stephanie, the only support that you have for your man is excuses. And you know dang well that judge is going to clock your shit.
Let's start with the most jaw-dropping move Stephanie Jenkins has made yet. This TikTok mom of 5, already wrapped in controversy, decided to go on a subscriber-only rant. But instead of addressing her living conditions, her ongoing relationship issues with Drew, or even offering a defense for her messy public image, she chose to directly attack the judge overseeing Deshaun's custody case. She went after the one person in the entire legal system who holds the authority to determine whether Deshaun remains in her and Drew's lives. It wasn't just careless, it was explosive. What followed was a spiral of entitlement, delusion, and pure disrespect for the law. Disrespecting the legal system. Who picks a fight with a judge? Especially when you have no legal rights over a child in question? That's exactly what Stephanie Jenkins decided, and the internet was left. Stephanie wrote, "I don't get it. I question daily. How can a judge give me orders to follow when I am not even in the court?" That one sentence alone blew up online. Not just because of what it said, but because of who it came from and the timing of it. This isn't some casual comment. Stephanie isn't just confused. She's publicly challenging the authority of the very person in charge of the legal outcome of Deshaun's case. She seems to think that not being in the courtroom makes any decision involving her invalid. That's not how the legal system works. Orders don't stop applying just because someone isn't physically in the room. When there is an open case with a child involved, and you are even remotely connected, the court is allowed to reference you if your behavior impacts the case. Let's be real here. Judges don't give out orders for fun. They are not making decisions based on how someone feels, whether you're upset or frustrated. They go by facts, legal documents, court proceedings, and the actual roles people play in a child's life. Stephanie has none of those roles. She's not Deshaun's legal guardian, not his biological mother, not even his stepmother. She's just Drew's girlfriend. And yet, she keeps talking like her opinion carries legal weight. It doesn't. That's not how custody cases work. You don't automatically get a say just because you're around the child a lot or feel attached. That might matter emotionally, but legally, it's meaningless unless you've taken the proper steps to get recognized by the court. Still, Stephanie acts like the court owes her a seat at the table. That's not how this works. The court doesn't care about someone's social media following or how strongly they feel entitled to be. It's about legal standing. Stephanie's entire argument crumbles the moment you look at her actual position. So when she says things like this online, people start to wonder, is she doing this for views? Is this part of the next dramatic post or live session? Or does she really believe she has more power than she actually does? Because either way, it's a reckless mindset. And the mindset doesn't just hurt her. It puts Deshaun in an even messier situation, especially when everyone is being watched by people in and outside the courtroom. No legal standing, just delusion.
First of all, Stephanie, there is no reason for you to be there in support of Drew. So basically, you want to be there to support him keeping Deshaun from his mom. That's what you're telling us? Stephanie, the only support that you have for your man is excuses. And you know dang well that judge is going to clock your shit. Oh, y'all, Drew can't put together words, but he can put together a video game and he can play video games all day. And he can put the words together to cuss her kids out. But he can't explain to a judge why he has been alienating his son from his mother. Oh, and Stephanie, I bet the judge would love to know why you are considering yourself a mother to Deshaun. You're not a mama of 5, you're a mama of 4. It is the complete and utter audacity for me.
Let's make something very clear. Stephanie has no legal standing in Deshaun's life. She's not his mother, she's not his stepmother, she's not even Drew's wife. These aren't just titles. They are critical legal distinctions that define who is allowed to make decisions or even participate in custody decisions. If you're not listed as a legal guardian or recognized in any official court document, your opinion doesn't hold legal weight. On top of that, Stephanie is still married to another man who is currently in prison. That adds a whole other layer of complication to her personal life. Instead of focusing on ending that legal tie and getting her own situation in order, she is trying to insert herself in someone else's custody battle. It's like she's ignoring her own mess while trying to jump into someone else's. Yet, she acts like she's entitled to a voice in these court proceedings, as if just living in the same space as Drew and Deshaun automatically qualifies her to speak for them in legal matters. But that's not how family court works. Legal rights don't come from proximity. They come from formal proceedings like marriage, legal guardianship, or court orders. Stephanie has not taken any of those steps. She's not on any custody paperwork. She's never been recognized by the court as a parental figure. Her name isn't on any of the documents that matter. She is, at most, a live-in girlfriend. That means she's present, but without legal authority over the child. Still, she talks and behaves as if she is a co-parent, often inserting herself into conversations and decisions that are way above her legal standing. This isn't a situation where she and Drew share legal custody and she's stepping in to help. It's not even a blended family agreement where both parents have some legal recognition. What we are seeing is someone overstepping, claiming space and authority that the court has never granted. She's acting like she runs the show when in reality, legally, she's not even on the cast list.
For those of you that don't know, the reason why a judge often silences a significant other or silences parties in a case is to prevent there from being disparaging comments or information spread all over social media, especially when one party has a huge following of over 350,000 followers like the Resilient Jenkins compared to the little 20-something thousand followers that Desiree has. It's often done too when two individuals aren't married. You know, Stephanie and Drew aren't legally married, so therefore there's no guarantee that one or the other would be there next week, next month, next year. And if a judge bases the custody agreement around the partner of the person that's, in court or whatever, those things could change, especially if that partner was to leave. But my question is, do you think that Stephanie has the right to speak in court? Do you think that she has a say in all of this? Because I've seen a lot of comments saying that she's the cause of all this.
Stephanie also had the audacity to say she feels helpless because she can't go to court and speak for Drew. In her words, Drew is not the one who can even put things in words. That's a pretty strong and surprising statement to make about the father of the child involved in the custody case. It raises eyebrows because if she truly believed Drew was a capable and responsible parent, she wouldn't feel the need to speak for him at all. What she's saying here is that Drew can't clearly explain himself in court, and by extension, can't speak up for her either. That tells us a lot about how she views him, not as an equal partner who can stand on his own, but as someone who needs her to run the show. Instead of trusting Drew to share their perspective, she wants to be the one doing the talking. This isn't about helping, it's about taking control of the entire message. She wants to be the person shaping the narrative, deciding how things are framed and making sure her version of the story is in front and center. And that's not how a healthy relationship works, especially in a serious legal situation involving a child. If she really trusted him, she would allow him handle his role in the case without stepping over boundaries. But Stephanie doesn't seem to have that trust. She clearly doubts his ability to defend her or even present his own side properly. That lack of confidence in her partner, combined with her need to take charge of every detail, shows signs of control, not support. That's not loyalty. That's not teamwork. That's manipulation. And when legal decisions about a child are at stake, that kind of behavior becomes a major issue. It doesn't just affect her relationship, it also makes her look unstable and unfit to be involved in any decision making around Deshaun. The court is watching all of this, and this mindset doesn't help her or Drew. It only shows that she is not ready to let go of control, even when it isn't hers to have.
If you guys haven't figured it out by now, Stephanie and Drew will never change. And that's why I stopped making so many videos. Because regardless of what some of you think, I genuinely wanted to try to make a difference. And then I realized they don't care to change. They don't care to do better for their family. They don't care to move out of their hotel, because then what are they gonna, complain about or get attention for? These people don't even listen to a judge's orders. And you think they're gonna listen to anybody on here? Absolutely not. They don't care. And that's one of the reasons I stepped back. And whether you guys think I did or I didn't, or whatever you may think, doesn't matter to me. The fact is that I know that Stephanie doesn't even care that her man is cheating. There is proof right in front of her eyes that this man has been cheating. This woman knew things that nobody else knew before anybody else knew. And she still won't realize it. I don't know what to tell you, girl. She wasn't the first, and she won't be the last. And you probably should figure it out before
Here's where things go from manipulative to disturbing. Stephanie referred to Deshaun as our child. That's not just incorrect, it's bold and inappropriate. Let's be very honest. Deshaun is not her child in any legal, biological, or parental sense. There is no adoption paperwork, no custody arrangement, and no step-parent status. Nothing. He has a biological mother, Desiree, who has been fighting through the court system to get her son back. Desiree is present, she's active in his life, and she has every legal and emotional right to be the one raising him. For Stephanie, to call him hers is not just misleading, it's crossing a line. It ignores Desiree's role entirely and replaces it with her own false narrative. It's not confusion, it's entitlement. It's Stephanie trying to make herself the center of a family she hasn't legally or emotionally earned her place in. And the way she uses language like our child shows that she either refuses to acknowledge Desiree's existence or doesn't care. What makes this all worse is the contrast between how she treats Deshaun versus how she treats her own biological children. Stephanie is living with her kids in a small motel room with very little space or stability. That's a tough situation for anyone. But instead of focusing on those kids, making sure they're okay, fed, safe, and supported, she's pouring her time and emotional energy into Deshaun, a child who isn't even legally tied to her. She clings to Deshaun like he's a symbol. It's not about love or bonding. It looks like a control issue. She's using him as a way to stay involved in Drew's life or to stay relevant in the public eye. Either way, it's not genuine care. It's not what's best for Deshaun. And that kind of behavior is deeply concerning when a child's emotional and legal future is on the line. The judge overseeing this custody case had already issued a clear and specific warning. Do not talk about Deshaun or the details of the case on social media. It wasn't vague. It wasn't a suggestion. It was a direct instruction tied to the outcome of the custody proceedings. And what did Stephanie do? She went online and did exactly what she was told not to. She ignored the court completely. Her rant wasn't just casual venting. It was a full-blown violation of what the judge said. Whether she realizes it or not, this type of behavior has real consequences. Judges don't take disobedience lightly, especially when it involves a child. What she may not understand is that her actions can directly impact who gets custody. By violating the order, she gives the judge a reason to question her judgment, her priorities, and her respect for the law. In fact, this one move alone can lead to the judge granting Desiree full, permanent custody. Stephanie is out here handing her opponent the victory, wrapped in a bow, just for the sake of posting a rant. It's not just about breaking a rule, it's about showing the court that you're not someone who can be trusted with a child's future. That's a serious problem. While Stephanie is out here battling for a child that doesn't belong to her, her own children are suffering. She's posted multiple updates about her youngest baby, Momo, who has already started crawling and standing. At this age of development, babies need room to move safely and should not be in a confined sleep space like a bassinet. Yet, Stephanie is still keeping Momo in a bassinet, despite these clear developmental changes. That decision alone is dangerous, But what makes it worse is her excuse. She said she added blankets in the bassinet in case she timbers backwards, as if that solves the problem. But any pediatrician will tell you that blankets in a bassinet are a major suffocation hazard. It doesn't protect the baby. It puts the baby at even greater risk.
I have a question for you, Stephanie Jenkins. Can you get any more reckless? No, I'm serious. Can you? Because there's no reason why your baby, how old is she? I don't know how old she is, but she's old enough to stand up. There's no reason she should be in that bassinet. That is so dangerous. And you try to explain that you're a good mom by saying, guys, don't worry, she has a blanket. She has blankets in her bassinet in case she falls over. You're scared that she's gonna fall back? Girl, she's gonna fall forward. She can already walk over, and her weight distribution is wild. If she just flings herself, she's gonna hit the floor. And the floor is made out of tile. I'm yelling and I'm so loud because you're so irresponsible. How is that okay for you to keep posting these types of videos where your kids are not in check? This is why I don't even share my kids on social media, because first of all, I don't want to be doing something silly, which, I have more common sense than most, but, why? Why give CPS another reason?
Instead of listening to safety guidelines or transitioning Momo to a crib, like most parents would at this point, Stephanie is doubling down on bold decisions, and she's doing it publicly. Posting photos and acting like this setup is just fine. She's treating basic safety concerns as if they're overreactions from critics. That's not responsible parenting. That's ignoring valid concerns just to prove a point. The internet has noticed that Stephanie's behavior isn't just dramatic, it's all over the place. She goes from long, emotional rants to oddly calm and quiet moments within hours. It's the kind of switch that has made a lot of people question what's really going on with her. She's also mentioned having breathing problems out of nowhere, which might be a medical issue, or it might be related to something else. What really caught people's attention, though, are the strange outlines viewers spotted in her pockets during live streams. Some say they clearly resemble a pipe, the kind often linked to substance use. And the fact that she has never addressed it, not even close, makes it harder to ignore. Now, to be fair, it's a serious thing to accuse someone of drug use. But when someone is constantly making reckless choices, ignoring court orders, and putting kids at risk, people are going to start asking hard questions. And when there are visible signs that match the behavior, it becomes more than just gossip. It becomes a real concern, especially when children are involved.
Because I never thought that I would have to clear up if I was being honest about being a road user before. Being an addict. Anyways, I digress. So I made a video about Stephanie withdrawing. Was it yesterday? Yesterday. Okay, and I said something about how she was withdrawing because it looked like she had the super flu and everything, and everybody's like, well, I thought you said that she was on meth. Well, I do think she is, but from what I've gathered these days, that fent stuff is in everything. So it very well could be in the math. I'm trying to figure out how I want to say all this. So if it is in the math stuff, then obviously when you don't have it, you're going to withdraw from that. Okay, I've never personally withdrew from fent, just straight fent, how people do it now. I have withdrew from H. That was back in 2018, 2019. So I'm sure it wasn't all fent. Probably not as bad as it is now, mixed together. But I said something about how withdrawing from H for me was having the super flu. And everybody's like, oh, if you've ever come off of fent, then it's way worse than that. And it very well may be. But for me, it was super restless, the cold, the sniffling, and just, it was the flu times 100 for me. And maybe it's different for everybody. I'm sure it is. Honestly, I think the worst thing about it was the restless leg.
Could all this be for content? Stephanie recently admitted that she is out of ideas and struggling to come up with new things to post. That alone raises questions. When someone says they have no content left but continues to post chaotic updates, you have to ask, are they now creating drama on purpose just to stay relevant? Her videos and live streams seem to gain the most views when something controversial happens, especially when she's in the middle of it. That's not a coincidence. She knows that when she rants, argues, or pushes boundaries, more people tune in. That kind of attention translates into engagement, likes, shares, and possibly even money. So maybe this whole situation isn't just emotional. Maybe it's a calculated way to stay in the algorithm. It's not uncommon for creators to use emotional content as a way to keep audiences interested. But when you're doing it by dragging a custody battle into the spotlight, especially one involving a child who isn't legally yours, that's when it crosses a line. That's not storytelling, it's exploitation. So whether Stephanie is truly losing control or just trying to manufacture attention, the result is still the same. The damage doesn't go away. People are being hurt, especially Deshaun and the other kids. The content may be getting clicks, but it's coming at a cost. Losing control, losing everything. Stephanie is in a downward spiral, and it's becoming harder to ignore. Instead of using this time to focus on what really matters, like finding stable housing for her 5 children,
Everybody swears it's just consistency. You don't get your followers, I swear.
She's spending her energy ranting on social media and calling out judges.
You know what I'm
She
saying?
posts like someone who
Look at my
feels
ass.
back into her refuses to do anything meaningful to improve her situation. It's not like she doesn't know what's at stake. She's in the middle of a custody situation that directly affects Deshaun's future and possibly Drew's parental rights. Still, she continues to act as if the biggest priority is how people online view her. Every video she uploads, every comment she posts, seems to focus more on defending herself or clapping back at critics than on doing the things the court is likely watching for, like showing personal growth or taking responsibility. She's not actually fighting to keep Deshaun in any way that matters. She's not filing motions, working through family services, or complying with court-recommended steps. Instead, her focus is on staying visible, staying talked about, and staying in control of the narrative online. Meanwhile, the most important thing, Deshaun's well-being, is falling through the cracks. And honestly, the more she speaks, the more she posts, the more she shows everyone watching, followers, critics, and especially the court, that she's not someone who prioritizes a child's best interests. Each new update only reinforces that she's not taking this seriously. It's all spiraling, and she's the one making it worse with every post. At the end of the day, Stephanie Jenkins has made it clear where her priorities lie. She hasn't put her focus on her children's well-being, on improving her situation, or on respecting the law. Instead, she seems focused on proving she's right, on being the loudest voice in the room, and on keeping herself in the spotlight, no matter the cost. Her rant wasn't some brave move or vulnerability. It wasn't her opening up or being misunderstood. It was reckless. It was loud and attention-seeking, and it came at the worst possible time, right in the middle of a sensitive legal case. What she framed as expressing emotion came off as entitled behavior that ignored all the warnings and responsibilities in front of her. That kind of behavior doesn't make her look bad. It makes Drew's case for custody even harder. And it may have been the final nail in the coffin for Drew's custody case. Her actions are becoming a pattern the court can't ignore. Stay tuned, because if there is one thing we've learned from watching Stephanie's behavior unfold online, it's this: the drama doesn't end. And sadly, neither does the damage she leaves behind.